Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you for watching this video. Before I begin, I would like to ask you if you like these videos and you're finding value in the things that I'm saying, if you would please hit the subscribe button, and that way you get notified every time I release a new video. Thank you for that. Thank you for all the likes and the comments. Also, be sure to comment on the last video that I did that I had the white shirt on. I can't even remember the subject of the video, but if you comment on the last video that I did before this one, you are entered to win an Amazon gift card, and I just want you all to have a chance to win that before I choose the winner, probably next week. So thank you for being here. Today's video is going to be on regret, and this was a requested video, so this is a requested topic. And before coming on today, I did make some notes, because of course I did, and I wanted to treat this very seriously, because I know that it can be difficult to see things through somebody else's eyes. It can be difficult to understand something that we've not gone through or experienced for ourselves. I personally don't believe in regret. And it's funny that this comment came in when it did, because I had just had a conversation with my husband the other day about not having regret. I don't have regret. I don't believe in it. I think that it's sort of self-flagellation. It's just very bad for self-worth and self-esteem. It serves no purpose. It doesn't help anyone in any way. And it really only affects yourself. A lot like the other negative emotions, like hate, like holding grudges, that kind of thing. I just don't think it serves a purpose. And there's no point in looking back at the past and staying in the past when you're here today and you have a future and you have wonderful things ahead of you and great things that you can do in your life. So, that said, I don't want to sound like I'm being flippant or dismissive of a thing that is real for a lot of people, and so we're going to talk about that today. My number one thing here is that a lot of times regret shows up in grief. When someone dies, especially someone we love, especially when it's unexpected, but in all scenarios, someone we love that we have unfinished business with. A lot of us have strained relationships with certain family members or certain friends, and if they pass away, it can leave us feeling incomplete. Like there was this thing that we were always going to say, or there was this situation that we always meant to work out with them, and we didn't get the chance to do it. And we can beat ourselves up about it. And there are those of us that do. And so when you're feeling regret because of grief, because you lost someone and you regret how you treated them, you regret the last thing you said, obviously you can't pick up the phone and call them and try to make that better. So what can you do? I have some tips. Number one, I would say to write a letter. It's a lot like journaling, and it will help you to get out your feelings of regret and to express to this person exactly what you feel. And if you're like me and you like ceremony and ritual because it brings you closure, then this is a great exercise to do, because when you journal or when you write this letter, you can seal it up in an envelope if you want to, you can address it to them, put their name on it, and then you can take it to them. If you are okay going, visiting the gravesite, you can do that. You can put it somewhere special. You can just, put it away for yourself and know that, okay, I have dealt with those emotions, okay, and I've got that out there and I put it out there into the universe. The other way that I would say to sort of talk to them is just to talk to them, is to speak it out loud. My grandfather has been gone. Today's his birthday, actually. He'd be 101 if he were here, still with us today. I talk to him all the time. I just talk out loud to him. I happen to believe that the next plane is just a little bit over and maybe 3 feet up from where we are right now. And so those that are over there, they see us, they hear us, they're aware of us, they still love us. They've been able to let go of and drop a lot of the all of the human qualities that they had before. So they don't carry around anger and resentment and things like that. That's only us that do that. They're over there just loving us unconditionally. So it's a great exercise to do, to just be honest and open and talk to them and ask for a sign if you want to. Ask them to let you know that they're okay with you, that you've been forgiven, and see what happens. Also, just like journaling, just talking it out is a way to get it out and say the things that we feel sad that we never got to say when they were here. And a lot of times that's all we need is that release, okay? Number 2, make amends with the living. This is something I do have experience with. I'm not an alcoholic, but I love the 12 Steps program. I don't think it's only effective for alcoholics. I think it can be effective for a lot of people, a lot of different addictions, a lot of different negative behaviors. And when I was going through a time, I'm always going through a time of spiritual growth, but I was going through a very significant time in my life of growth and understanding, and looking back at where I had been, I had to get really honest with myself about the ways that I had treated certain people in my life. And the one that really, really bugged me was my brother. And he's my older brother. We're 14 months apart. And since I was born, I've looked up to him. I idolize him. I love him so much. When I was a kid, I used to call him my Jason because he belonged to me. That's my guy. And there was a period in my 20s when I just lost my mind, as we do. And I didn't treat him well. In fact, I treated him very poorly. And I'm so grateful that he's still in my life after some of the things that I did and said to him. So I felt like, and when I was deciding this, I didn't even know if he remembered any of this. I just knew that this was something that I had to do. So I came to him and said, hey, remember when this? Or I remember, I feel bad. I feel regret. I feel like I owe you an apology for this and this and this and this. And I went down the list, and he was gracious and he listened. Sorry, he forgave me on the spot, which was wonderful. And I was able to let those things go. He knows that I'm sorry, and I know that I'm sorry, and now it's time to move forward. I'm not saying that if you go and make amends with someone, they will forgive you on the spot. But whether or not they accept your apology has nothing to do with you. It's not a reflection of you, and it shouldn't affect your forward progress because you said the thing that you meant to say, that you wanted to say, and you were sincere about it. Okay? So leave it there. And that way you're able to move forward from that. Hopefully they will forgive you. Hopefully it'll be a bridge to a better relationship with that person. Number 3, I think that regret has to do with self-worth and self-forgiveness, and this thing that I talk about all the time about getting stuck in a story. So many of us have stories that we believe about ourselves, and they can be small stories like I'm a terrible swimmer. That's one that I say about myself. When I talk to people about doing triathlons, I say, oh, well, I would, but I'm a terrible swimmer. Well, I don't know if that's true. I don't swim a lot. I have just sort of told myself that it's true. And it's something that I do want to change. But stories can be something that are small like that, or they can be huge. Like, I'm the black sheep of the family. I'm a total failure. Everyone hates me, okay? And when you're stuck in that kind of story, it can be very difficult to let go of the regret, because the regret is tied to our identity as the black sheep, as the failure, as someone who never gets it right. It's never going to be okay. If you stay in that mindset, and if you continue to tell yourself that story is true about yourself, then it becomes more difficult to let go, okay? And that is a self-worth issue. That is where you need to be meditating on your value. That is where you need to be affirming yourself and telling yourself all the good things that you know to be true about yourself. And at first, it's gonna feel like you're lying. It's gonna feel like you're telling yourself stories. But as you do it, you will begin to believe that these things are true about you, and your insides will begin to change. And the thing about growth is you won't want to stay stagnant. You won't cling to those old stories so tightly anymore when you realize that there could be a whole other story waiting for you, and you get to write it, okay? So sometimes regret is just about letting go of something we've always said, we've always identified with, we've always thought to be true about ourselves. And that's very frightening sometimes, because we don't know what the new story is going to be. We maybe don't know who we are without our sadness or our trauma or our victimhood, okay? Because that's who we've always been. I get that. I did that for a long time. But I encourage you to let those things go and start to affirm yourself, okay? Say nice things about yourself. You need to forgive yourself. Work on meditations. Work on EFT tapping if that helps you. Guided meditations on YouTube were a go-to for me when I was learning how to love myself. learning how to believe that I was worth as much as everyone else in the world, that I deserve good things like everyone else in the world, that I have things to offer the world. That's true about me, and it's true about you. And if it weren't true about you, you wouldn't be here. Okay? So, regret. Do what you can to forgive and to release anything tied to grief. Know that your loved one loves you. Okay? They love you unconditionally. And do what you can if you like ceremony like I do. Journal, talk it out, write a song if you're a writer, something creative, make something. You can make a commemorative thing and put in words or feelings, or express yourself through a painting if that's what appeals to you. That's a wonderful thing to do. Once it's out, then you can start moving forward, okay? Number 2, make amends with the living. If there are people out there that you still are regretting this thing, it doesn't matter to me if this is somebody that you bullied at camp when you were 12 years old, or somebody that you totally ruined their wedding 5 years ago and you haven't spoken since. It doesn't matter if it's an insignificant thing or a major significant thing, because they're all significant if they're keeping you stuck, okay? So make amends with the living where you can, and remember that their forgiveness is not a reflection on you, and letting go of what you have regrets over should not hinge on whether or not they accept your apology. You do your work. Your journey is not the same as theirs. We all get there at different times, okay? Number 3, self-worth, self-value, self-forgiveness. This is probably the hardest one, is forgiving self, affirming value, and changing our story, but it's also the most important one. Because when you believe that you are unstoppable, then you are unstoppable. When you believe that you are worthy, then the whole world, the whole universe rises up around you and affirms that for you. You will begin to see your life change when you let go of the way it's always been and the things you've always said, okay? My other notes here are that you are not defined by your past. You are not defined by your past. It's so important to me that you hear that today. Let it go. It doesn't matter. You are not your biggest mistake. I am not my biggest mistake. I am who I am right now. And tomorrow I will have evolved a little bit more. I continue to get better. I continue to grow, to change. What is it Maya Angelou said? Do as well as you can until you know better, and then do better, right? That's all any of us can do. You get to choose the life that you lead. You are worthy of moving forward unhindered, unencumbered, and unburdened. I hope this video has helped you. I hope that you got all fired up. I'm over here sweating. That felt like we went to church a little bit there, and I hope you liked it. I hope that you are able to let go of your regret and live in the now and begin to build a future, because you deserve it and you are worthy. You are so courageous, and I love you. Bye-bye. Hi guys, it's me again. I just came back on to say the video that you need to comment on is the one on making an anxiety list, okay? I'm not wearing a white shirt. I guess it's kind of white. It's striped, and I have a pink baseball cap on, and it's called Creating an Anxiety List. Make sure you comment on that video to have a chance to win the Amazon gift card. Bye-bye.